There's lots of Doge stuff to talk about. And as we've said before, we could, every day this program could just be an hour on Doge. Two things I want to hit at least, and then if there's other stuff, you guys will bring it up too. One is last night in a filing, the Justice Department on behalf of the White House said Elon Musk is not the head of Doge. He's barely got anything to do with Doge. He's an advisor to the president.
Don't even know the
Sean,
guy. Don't even
yeah,
know the guy.
doesn't know how to spell it. Sean, decode this. Why is the Justice Department making this argument?
Well, I think part of it is just they want to establish clear lines of authority, who has the ability to do what. As you send some of these folks in and give them the pushback is people don't have the authority, and there's certain lines of delineation that you want to prove to say this person works for this agency or it reports to this person who does, right? At the end of the day, the president of the United States is head of the executive branch. If somebody has the appropriate security clearances and whatever, then they have the authorization. That's what's needed. I mean, I find that the Dem pushback on this ridiculous. The president decides who has the authority, not he's the head of the executive branch. And so part of this, but what I found fascinating about the filing is the precedent that they cited. And again, this keeps coming up over and over again. You know who was a special government employee? Anita Dunn. Over and over and over again, who ran a big firm. I get it. It's not Elon size. I'm not trying to make that equivalency. But what I'm saying is they came into government. There are certain rules about what they call an SGE, a special government employee. It allows you to work a certain amount of days without a certain amount of disclosure, which is what, I had to file a public disclosure form stating everything that I owned, all the people I owed money to. And you have certain ways around that as a special government employee, but you're only entitled to certain things, and that's part of the filing. But again, this goes back to the thing. Biden brought Anita Dunn in, who had massive conflicts. Granted, again, I'm not making the equivalency, but they started the ball down and then kept refiling how they filed her to get around the disclosure reports because she still had clients. She has a familial conflict as well. And so the Biden administration did all this, and the Trump administration said, aha, here's our loophole. We'll just do it. And all these Democrats go, this is ridiculous. And I get it. It's an exponential blowing it up. But the bottom line is they did it. They exposed the hole. No one said a thing in the press or any leftist worried about Anita Dunn's conflicts of interest or their lack of disclosure. And suddenly Elon does it, much bigger, much more grand. And now they go, oh, this is ridiculous. He's not elected. Well, where was your concern when you guys started this and gave us the roadmap to do it? Sorry, Charlie.
Okay. Okay. So my friend Gordon, I never look at the chat, but my friend Gordon put in the chat about Anita. Okay. So Sean, I think was extremely fair there. Okay. Elon's a lot richer than Anita, although Anita's pretty rich. A lot richer, but the concept is the same. The dynamic is the same. She was affiliated with a Washington firm that represented tons of clients with business before the government. And as Sean said, the media did not give, as Bill Clinton would say, a rip about their juggling of her title. So she could continue to make advice at the highest levels of the government in the White House. She could continue to do that with no press blowback, no scrutiny. Republicans didn't even try because they knew the press would not care, because Anita's very popular with the media. And now that Elon's doing it, it's like the biggest scandal of all time. Both should have been scrutinized. Okay. Musk should be scrutinized for all this. The answer for people in my business is not, well, Anita wasn't scrutinized, so Musk shouldn't have been. Anita should have been scrutinized. Dan.
Yeah, I was going to say, so just Anita Dunn was the communications director and kind of senior advisor to Biden, like not an insignificant person. And their firm is one of the largest public affairs, corporate affairs firms in the country. They still are today. She still is a part of the firm today. So yes, a precedent that once again, as Sean points out, was set years ago. The one difference in the case of Mr. Musk is I believe this is the fourth different definition they've given since November of his role, what his formal role is. He
doesn't have job lock. He's being promoted all over the place.
They are moving him around. It's like, hide the ball of disclosure and what he's going to be responsible for. So it always says, you got a problem when you keep changing your answer. So it seems like, because they have now put it in writing before the court, this is the final answer. We'll see next week if that is still the case. But certainly, it raises eyebrows.
But by the way, you know what I loved about one of the court pushbacks is the Democrats in one of the filings listed a bunch of media stories as the basis for standing, et cetera. And the court said you cannot use a media story as for standing. It was so beautiful.
I think it was Judge Chutkan, who's the new hero of the Trump administration.
Tanya Chutkan.
If I were a law professor at Trump University, Ivanka Trump School of Law, I would be teaching a pop-up course on the creative arguments being made by the Justice Department and the White House Counsel's Office. So far, again, just technical proficiency, brilliant.